82K BTC, but it's all about this magical trend line now. Are we going to get a make or break moment in the markets? Are we going to have a green weekend? Are we going to pump some handbags? Or are they sending us straight for rags later on this weekend? So guys, so much to talk about here. I've got a guest as well. We're loading up shorts. We're loading up longs. We got it all cooking for you guys on a Friday. Let's get right into this. Guys, and remember, as always, Monday to Friday, I'm here on Banter Plus. Hit that like, hit the bell, hit the subscribe. You know exactly what to do. And I've got, obviously, James is in the house. I've actually got a tinfoil thing for you, James. You're going to love this tweet that I've got ready for you. You're going to fucking love this one. And Davy's in the house. Okay, we got longs, we got shorts. It's going down. Okay, this is our absolute gun out of Chart Hack. Has been fucking smashing it at the moment with Tower. So we're going to talk about that as well in a couple of minutes. Cool. Let's go. Banter Bubbles looking nice, but is this a trap? We've got all these altcoins sitting at major resistance zones currently. Are we supposed to believe this filth that they are throwing at us at the moment? So on paper, everything is looking good at the moment. Look at Fartcoin and a little mover. We got a little scalpy this morning on the hacker Zoom session, and that thing's starting to move. But Dave and Jay actually caught the heart of that Fartcoin pump. Dave, this morning, probably 8 hours ago, they caught that Fartcoin banger in hackers. So that thing is flying for them at the moment. Now, let's get into BTC. Let's just take a look. This is the most important chart that you need to pay attention to this weekend. This is all that matters right now. Above this magical line here is handbags. Below the magical line is rags. It's that simple. Okay, we're gonna have so much fun above this region here. If we get that break, I think we're gonna start cooking on some of these alts. Anything under here, absolute filth, and they are sending us to zero. And this is where these shorts are going to be in play. So before we get into the news, we were just talking offline here. We are so news-based at the moment. We're literally waiting for tweets from Uncle Donald. We're waiting for tweets out of China, whatever the story is. But you got to make sure that you are hedged. So if you are net bias, if your net bias is long, make sure you have a couple of banger shorts just in case it falls over. We've got those for you. If your bias is net short, make sure you got a few banger longs just in case the market rips later on. Okay, make sure you are covered in both directions. Yeah. Okay. News or noose, says Zen, I promise you, I'm not going to play the bounce now, cut it off. I promise you, it's not happening today. Okay, let's go. BTC on the 2 hour. Let's see what's going on. You can see we are at a major resistance zone. What is going on here? This is our 618 horizontal. This is our vertical, 618 trend line and horizontal resistance band, 83,100. You can see we got a little bit of a fight in our hands at the moment. And then in terms of where we can go later on, if we do get a pop, there's a couple of places we just need to be a little bit cautious with. Now, and when I say a little bit, I mean a fucking lot. Okay, so this area over here is a major resistance zone. Why is this important? This is the 50-day MA. This is the 200-day moving average. This is a 786 pool. This is horizontal action. We know previously this has been major resistance for us. So if we do get some kind of pop into this area, there's basically two options we're looking at. Option number one, if we pop into the zone and then gradually just float around under this region and pop there, that could be super bullish for these altcoins. So if we break through here and consolidate under that resistance zone, that could be a really good sign for these alts this weekend. Things can get super spicy. Now, if we do have a quick pop through later, but we get a very hard rejection on BTC, my guess is these alts are going to be in trouble. So you're going to keep your eye on BTC. You're going to see how hard it rejects if it does pop into that area. And then that is going to be your guide as to how we're going to play some of these altcoins. So look out for a vicious move at some point if there is going to be a news announcement. And James is going to tell you just now why he thinks there might be a news announcement. So we're going to cover that in a couple of secs. So right now we're waiting with bated breath for some kind of trend rejection or breakout. You can see the bulls and the bears are fighting right now in this region. So in terms of short-term support, what are we watching here? So the interesting zones for me, 80,000 on the button and then 77,900. Those two make the most sense to me at the moment. So if there is a quick sell-off, let's say there's a a little news tweet or something along those lines, if we get a quick dip that's not too serious, those are going to be your bullish zones that you're going to be watching. So 80K and 77,900, watch those areas. And then upside resistance, let's confirm it's 83,500, it's 85,500 to 88K. That's a massive region there for us. And I just want to show you this liquidity. Look at this. This is our 1 week liquidation heat map from CoinGlass. You can see, look at this beautiful area up here, just above 85,000. That makes a lot of sense if they want to go hunting in that direction. Okay, so that is what we're looking for. That's your ping pong zones for the next, let's say for this weekend. Now we have to see how serious things get, but that is pretty much what I am looking at the moment. Okay. Let's get into the stuff. Let's get into the juice. No, we don't need that one. We need this one. Okay. Fear and greed is back at 25. So yesterday we saw after the pumps, Bitcoin hit about, I think it was around 30, James, give or take. It was looking a little bit better. That has now fallen over again. Stock market is still in extreme fear at the moment. And the liquidations, the wreck, 24 hours, $240 million. Okay, so rookie numbers again. What is this? You know, we don't like to get out of bed unless it's $500 million. And that's when it's really exciting. So I'm sure Trump is going to fix that later for us and send us back to, let's say, $500 million. Okay, that's reasonable for the weekend.
We'll see. We'll see. He's coming up with something today.
Something's coming. Okay, something's coming. James, I got the best tinfoil thing for you. It's coming. Okay, it's coming just now. It's coming. Okay, let's go. Well, this is basically us. Okay? We had hopes and dreams. It was all there. Why does it feel like this whenever this altcoin market rejects? It kills me. Okay, anyway, forget about that. Let's focus on the good stuff, like when we get a 2% pump, when we're so happy. Are we so used to getting so abused in this crypto market that we get a 2% pump and we're like super stoked about life? Anyway, let's see what are fundamentals. So today we got the PPI numbers. So we had CPI 2 days ago. That was super bullish. Then we got PPI coming through. CPI was yesterday, actually. And Macmillan says, I miss when Uncle Dill said 94K BTC. Did I say 94K BTC?
No, he just misses when that used to be a number we could talk about.
The old resistance. Oh,
we're in the 70s now.
Old resistance, bro. Okay, PPI. So that came in quite bullish at the moment. So CPI came in bullish, PPI came in bullish. So under typical conditions where we don't have a tariff war and a global meltdown and a bond meltdown, under typical conditions, this would be super bullish for the market. You would have seen the S&P absolutely continue to melt faces. Okay, so it's not responding well, and it's basically because everyone is bullish. This is Meme Master, guys. Follow Meme Master on Twitter. It's at MemeMaster08. And current market situation is fully bullish. Okay, that is literally the only way we can call it, because nobody knows what the fuck is going on. So here's something bullish at the moment. You see, Sabina has the exact same question. And Ash Crypto says 250 million USDC just minted in treasury. That's normally bullish. Okay. Normally, when you see these types of prints, you get some kind of move in the market. So that's a good start. My favorite is always the tether prints. That always gets me a little bit more excited, but that's a good start. Now, that was the bullish news. Now, what about the bearish situation? Well, Trump warned Z privately, okay? And China ignored it and slapped new tariffs instead. So basically, Uncle Donald, to save his ego, he goes, these Chinese must request a call with me, okay? And the President Z just basically gave him the middle finger and slapped him with tariffs. Like, they're playing this big ego handbag game again across the ocean, and I think we're all going to be the losers, okay? Unless we catch the shorts, then they must carry on. But that's pretty much what's going down. They literally, we'll call it handbags, okay? We'll call it handbags. But the Chinese have slapped on 125%. It's going down. But according to Donald, he says we're doing very well with our tariff policy. It's very exciting for America at the moment. I'm sure everybody likes getting rinsed, so maybe they do find it exciting, okay? So that is moving along nicely according to Uncle Donald and his latest tweets. And yeah, this is for James. Okay, this is right up your alley, bro. This is Trumponomics from Marty Party. Okay, he says Tariffs are the bait. This is about China. Align the world with the US and get manufacturing back to the US, thereby boxing in China. Unleash the crypto digital dollar onto the world. New global system built around the new dollar. Aligned countries will be asked to peg their currency to the dollar, then allow dollar to weaken, weaponize trade. I mean, this is right up your alley, isn't it? Do you
Marty's a
concur with
little
it?
out there. Marty's a little out there even for me.
Is it a little out there for you?
Even for me. That tells you how crazy this shit is.
Okay, fine. I thought you'd love this thing. Okay, fine. Anyway,
I've heard the theory before. It doesn't look like it's working very well so far, though.
It's not going well at the moment. Okay,
At the moment, you never know.
It's not going well. Here's the real question from 𝗙𝗆𝗃 letter. They said, who gives up first? Is it Trump? Now, we saw he kind of half gave up when he gave us the 90-day tariff extension, and number one. So he gave us that mini pump. Is he going to come out again today? James suspects he's going to announce something today. Number two is who gives up is China. Are they going to give up? I don't think the Chinese are going to give up. I think they'd rather go to zero than actually fucking give up. I really think it's an ego contest, yeah? And number three, the bond market. That looks the most realistic thing at the moment to give up. Now, these bond markets are spiking, and this is kind of what triggered Uncle Donald coming with a 90-day pause. What do you think he has left? What can he do now?
He has to do something. This bond market's right back where it was when he did the 90-day pause, and it's about to go higher, right? And people may not know what this means. This means that refinancing of the trillions of dollars of debt that he has to do this year, this makes it more expensive. He needs the bond market down, not up. This is having the opposite effect of what his master plan's supposed to be. His art of the deal. This is the opposite. So he has to do damage control. He must do damage control. Because if this continues up, that debt refinancing just goes higher and higher, and people are going to flee the markets. This is bad news.
Okay, so
he must do something.
You heard it directly from the bear, okay? And the bear knows the bear thing. The bear knows what a bear smells like, okay? So that is not a good look, but this might actually give us a pump later, okay? If this thing spikes too hard before the end of the day, we might have actually a green weekend.
And he loves his Friday afternoon announcements at U.S. close. That's when he loves to do it. So I'm expecting some sort of interference here. He already came up with that tweet saying, oh, we're doing really well. They're going to start having to come up with at least trade agreements. Look, we're making an agreement here. This is what we're doing with that country. Something like that. It doesn't have to be that he's cutting anything or changing anything. Just giving a progress update to show that something is happening and agreements are being made. That would be enough.
And we're good. So just for interest's sake, guys, now I know none of us are macroeconomists here. I literally trade shit coins, okay? But we have a grasp of what's going on. But basically, this US 10-year rise to 4.52%, the largest single weekly increase since 2001. Okay, that's pretty serious what's going down there. Okay, and Bruce says he will spank power in public. Well, that might be a good video to watch. Okay, let's go. Couple of things getting affected here, guys. Number one, we don't look at it that much. This is the 𝗙𝗆𝗃, and also quite a fun trade. If you're into trading stocks and things like that, the 𝗙𝗃𝗃 can be a fun trade because it listens to TA. So I just, out of interest, want to show you this. This is the 𝗙𝗃𝗃 on the weekly. Look at this thing. Absolute lows to the highs. January 21 to the peak, September 22. Look at this, drops down. Honestly, can you make this any easier? Okay, look at that, 618 bounce there, bang, macro 618 for a 𝗙𝗃𝗃 long. Okay, now just simple stuff there in terms of TA, but what we generally want is the 𝗙𝗃𝗃 falling over. That is, in theory, supposed to help the markets. Now, the 𝗙𝗃𝗃 has been falling over for multiple reasons, and they seem to be a little bit more uncorrelated than normal. But the theory normally is that a 𝗙𝗃𝗃 dropping is generally good for the markets, okay? Especially the crypto markets and things like that. So right now, 𝗙𝗃𝗃 is on major support. We're going to keep a close eye on this one because it could get quite interesting. If the 𝗙𝗃𝗃 loses this level here, pumps back up, then we're in for quite a nice market rally, I would think, in theory, if we go back to using our normal indicators. Now, obviously, there's a couple of news items here that are affecting things a little bit, but that in theory is how it would play out, okay? And then in terms of gold, guys, I'm going to have a crack at this gold short. I promised you I was going to start shorting gold around this 3,260 zone, so we are almost there, and I think I think we're going to get a decision by Monday, Tuesday. I'm going to take a stab and say gold is potentially falling over by Monday, Tuesday. You can see we are printing bullish divergence here, and we are hitting our final fib target here, and it's nearly there. So 3,270, pretty much there. You can see my alarm is locked and loaded, and I'm going to have a crack here on gold on BTC.C, and we're going to see if we can send this thing not to zero, because I think it's going to bounce back quite hard, but I do think gold is almost close to a breather. Okay, so we're going to keep this one. We'll see how we go on Monday and see if we can get some kind of reaction there on gold. Okay, let's go into 𝗙𝗵𝗔 letter. And this is the old one. This is the old one. Hold on. Let's get S&P. Here we go. Okay, so no changes here. You can see today we're actually pretty flat. It's like the market is waiting for some kind of news. This is our daily chart. So yesterday we had quite a volatile day. We had the pump, we had the dump, and now today consolidating a little bit. So nothing to report on the S&P. Upside resistance, bang, death cross zone is going to be our 5,750. And then our big support is 4,850, and then the long zone, the high conviction long zone, 4,600 for me on the S&P. So no changes to that guy. And then let's get into BTC. So what is this all about? This is our Bitcoin on the daily. And yesterday we looked at this descending trend. And obviously we cannot get super bullish while we are in this downtrend. But there was a hint of bull source yesterday. We can see bullish divergence on the daily. That's normally quite a big indicator that you get some kind of big move. Now, divergence doesn't play out every time, but when it does, it's a bit of a banger. So they were planting this bull source, and I think if the market can find some kind of momentum today, it's got some work to do. It's got to get through some massive levels, but you can see this first trend is the major issue here. And step number one, it's our 83K. Then we've got to get through the war zone. You can see the war zone here, the 200-day, the 50-day, the wick fill, and we've covered that in detail now on that on the 2-hour chart. So essentially, what you want to see on the daily, if this is going to play out for us, a very simple game plan. You want a hardcore break through this region. You really want to crack these horizontals, and then we can deal with a little retest in that area. But ultimately, that's pretty much what we're going to be looking for if we are going to get a little bit bullish here on the market. So right now, bearish on the daily, bearish on the weekly. When we start blowing through big zones, then we can start talking bullish things. Okay, right now, no euphoria zone, and that again is why we're teeing up shorts for you guys today to tie up with any of you that are sitting long at the moment. Okay, let's go. Let's see what we got here. Dominance. Okay, important one, guys. And Rob says, loving his gold library head right now. What's he saying here? What's he telling us? What is he telling us? Is he trading gold? Dominance, guys. So what I said the other day was 𝗏𝗏𝗀 could be bullish for alts, but short-term pain. So this is obviously reliant on dominance dropping for us. So we want to pump up here, fill that wick, and then drop back down. So we're going to just keep our eyes on BTC now. If BTC starts ripping to the upside and dominance starts ripping, that is less of an altcoin concern. It's actually quite a relaxing position to be in, because you might then find a rejection up there. If we get a guard candle out of Bitcoin, then we'll just wait for our next rejection zone to really fire up some of those alts. But dominance going up when Bitcoin pumping, not necessarily a bad thing for the altcoins. Just remember, if dominance is pumping and Bitcoin is falling over, that is where you can get that wreckage. Okay, so just watch this one carefully. I do think we get this wick fill here, and maybe that move down today. So keep an eye on that one. Let's touch ETH for a split second here. And BlackRock bought some ETH, but rookie numbers, $6 million. What is this? What is this small change that they're buying ETH with? Have they lost faith in ETH? So just to confirm our ETH levels, the big dog here, 1,380, that type of region. You can see this band here. That's our main support that we're going to be watching for ETH. Then upside resistance zone. Anybody trading this one, 1,750 and 1,900. Those make the most sense to me to the upside. Okay, that's pretty much your resistance or your rejection zones. And then in terms of Solana, this is an interesting one. Are these guys prepping now that we've seen this tweet? Okay, let's just grab this one. Where's this thing? This one, okay, 250 million USDC out. Then we're seeing this thing, FTX Alameda, they've unstaked another 186,000 SOL. Are they going to sell into a pump? Is that the intention? something to pay attention to. Okay, they're obviously watching the chart as well, and maybe they're watching the show because maybe they can see the plan. So maybe they're going to sell their soul into the next pump, which is what it could be planning. So let's get into some setups for you guys. Now, what you're going to see today is very important stuff here. What you're going to see today is a combination of potential breakout trades that you can play with and some trade ideas to be long. And then I'm going to give you some very important zones that you're going to need to watch. If we get a pump in the market, you're going to get a couple of altcoins where you're going to have levels to the upside that you're going to mark on your charts that you can potentially look to short this weekend if we get a hard pump into those areas. So that's going to help you with your hedge plays in case the market starts ripping. Okay, then David and I, we've also got some short setups you can probably get into now, okay, potentially as a hedge play. So you got a lot coming up. And Dave, are you ready there, sir? Are you ready? Do you want to hang out?
Always ready, man. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk Sol. Well, talk some Sol with me. This is my general plan on the markets as a whole. So you're going to see a lot of these altcoins now have lost that 50-day MA, but we're going to be looking at a lot of zones where you got the 50-day MA sort of sticking its head out saying, hello, come back and visit me. So there's a possibility that these are ultimately going to become the high impact or the big reaction short zones for us potentially. And that is on some guard candle news pump that we may or may not get today. Okay, so if that works out, that is going to be one of the big zones there for me on Sol. So for example, 134 to 138, that type of region there makes sense as a pretty high conviction short zone if we get a hard pump this weekend. Okay, so look out at that area. Then you've got your next zone. Now, firstly, here's the question: who got Sol and 𝗠𝗆 yesterday? Okay, because I gave you the Sol and 𝗠𝗆 entries, and I took both of those entries on Sol and 𝗠𝗆. Let me know in the chats if you actually got it, and then this is our plan as to how we're going to deal with this next. So Sol and 𝗠𝗆 are both at resistance zones now. David's going to talk you through 𝗠𝗆, and what I want to see for Sol now, for example, is if we're going to get a breakout in the market, you're going to be looking for something like this, some kind of consolidation under this region, and then some kind of pop. Okay, that's going to be our first prize bull case, and that should happen during the course of today. So that's the bull prize. We get some kind of consolidation here between 122 and say 116, somewhere in this region. If we can consolidate and get a breakout pop in that zone, that is going to make a lot of sense for me on Sol, and then your target is going to be 134. So keep your eyes on this. What I would suggest here for the DGens is just watch a couple of key levels here. 116 makes a bit of sense to me as your first line that you're going to pay attention to. So possible pop zone here. If we get some bullish news, we should see some of these things blowing through these zones. If Sol carries on being bearish today, well, you're effectively in a short zone right now. Okay, so what you can do, and this is going to be similar to many of the alts out there, you could probably get away with about a 3.8 to 4% stop, and then you're going to look to trade that thing down to roughly 110. Maybe if it's terrible this weekend, 102, give or take, would be a target. Okay, so bull case is consolidation here and a pop to 135 for a high conviction short. Bear case hedge play is you can nibble around in here for a short in case this market is going to fall over. You can see on the 1 hour, let's just take a look for a guide here on our 1 hour oscillator. Let's just see what they're telling us. And look, it's not fully convincing yet. You can see it as rolling over on the short term, but it didn't reach, peak levels just yet. Let's see. Watch this one. Okay, it's not the most convincing. I think I've got some more convincing downside prints there on some of these other oscillators. Okay, so there's your game plan for Sol. Remember, all these charts go straight into Chart Hackers after the show, so you get access to all of that if you're a member of Hackers, obviously, and you get access to all of DGen Dave's setups, our Zooms, and the whole story. Okay, and obviously our banger team in there. Okay, so guys, there's the Sol plan. Dave, let's talk hype. So basically what happened was, okay, I've got a hype short that I've started here, and as it turns out, half of Hackers was charting hype in the last 24 hours. So I was charting it, Dave was charting it, I think Panda was charting it, who else? I think everyone was charting this thing, and it was basically looking so sexy as a potential short for us. So I've taken this short in WeX, and looking to build on this thing on a little bit of strength. You can see I'm sitting in an 8x short position at the moment, and it's an isolated position. So if it does pump, whatever I've put into that particular trade in isolated is my risk money. Okay, it doesn't affect the rest of the trading account. And then you can see I'm also in a CAS isolated position as well. I've taken out all my margin. You can see I've got $200 left of margin, and it's a $16,600 position. Okay, if you want to learn how to do that with leverage and things, well, you can do my accelerator course where I cover this in the workshops, or you can join Chart Hackers where this type of thing gets discussed relatively frequently. So here's HYPE. You can see it's a $10,000 short at the moment to start. Let's take a look at the chart. And funnily enough, what happened was, I dropped this in Hackers, and I was in the gym this morning, and David starts messaging me about HYPE. And it's actually quite nice because I was looking at two of these short zones yesterday on my show, and then when another fucking absolute legendary short trader starts sending me the same sort of chart, I get quite excited. Okay, and then I heard that Panda was shorting this one as well, and it's just nice that you get that confluence there from the team as well. And we can see HYPE is now pumped into our short zone, and now we are looking at potentially falling over. So just in summary, Dave, what are you seeing differently to me on HYPE, or are we pretty much on the same page here?
Yeah, it was funny because I was just charting it, and I didn't have a chance to watch your show yesterday, and then Nimrod comes in. He's like, "Man, Dylan's looking at the same level." I'm like, "Oh, that's a nice confluence." So, but yeah, no, I have a fib pulled from that high there. What was that, on the 24th of Monday to the absolute low that happened on the 7th of April. And you can see that we banked right into a 786 fib. We have an anchored VWAP, we have a 50-day MA, and then on the fixed range pull, we're pretty much at value area high. So there's also a 2-hour bearish divergence print, and that typically translates into the higher time frames later on. So we actually started the position yesterday with anticipation of higher pumps just in case the market went. And I actually started 5x, raised it just a little bit here, about 8x, and then added more size. So, I'm looking for that potential rollover in case the market, falls over here. So,
okay. So look, guys, basically what we've seen happen in the market lately, and this is just a little nugget for you guys. What we have seen happening is the market is responding to news up and down and things like that. And sometimes if you get a positive headline, they might dump it first and then pump it up. Or if you get a bearish headline, they might pump it first and then push it down. And what they're doing there is grabbing your easy stops. So there's a lesson here in having stops that are too tight, maybe positions that are way too big in size, and maybe, just pay attention to how wide your stops are. Try and cater for a little bit of volatility, and with that, maybe just drop your sizing a little bit, just so that you can have some breathing room, because there's nothing worse than being right in the trade, having the correct bias, and you've been stopped out twice, and then you're too scared to go again, and then off she goes. Okay, so just remember, it's a rough feeling, and sometimes you need to leave yourself some breathing room. So in terms of HYPE, for example, I'm under no illusions, for example, that this thing is safe. Okay, that I'm out of the woods in terms of my short. You can see I've been adding bits to this HYPE now as we go today, but they could very easily come back, send this thing up, chop us around this weekend, and still be correct with that short. So don't be surprised if they bump you into 15.7, even a wick into, say, 16 is possible today before they potentially send it down. So look out for that. Pay attention. We've got some nice targets to the downside. 13.2 is the big one for me. And then you could go lower, obviously, but 13.2 makes sense. And then if they pump this weekend, and for example, this gets stopped out, okay, let's say we lose this trade, it gets stopped out, that's going to be your next area, the 17 to 17.9. Okay, that's a bearish order block there. We've also got some wicks to deal with. So that will probably be your next zone where you most likely see this divergence really kicking in then on, say, the 4-hour or the 6-hour or 8-hour or something along those lines. So look out for that. These are perfect hedge plays here if we get some kind of pump in the market. Okay, so happy guys. It's a nice one. I think it could be a potential good one. And then a couple of trades I've got running here on LBANK at the moment. Here's AVAX. It's a breakout play from FJ, from Hackers. Okay, he hangs out with us in Hackers. He works in Hackers, and he gave us a nice AVAX breakout trade earlier today on the Zoom session. So I've been building this AVAX long here, hoping we're going to get a little bit of action out of that. You can see I've got a 𝗏𝗍𝗶 short here. I've also got another one in another account I'm going to show you in a sec. Then I've got a Brett long that I was speaking about in the Hacker Zoom this morning. Then I've got a render hedge short now at resistance. I'm going to show you that. We took it this morning on the Hacker Zoom session. There's the 𝗬𝗎 long from yesterday. Been adding a bit to that one, so that one is nice and green. There's the SOL long I gave you yesterday. That one's nice and green. Still getting killed in this tower. Fucking hell. And maybe it's because Dave's been long and he's like, this thing's been pumping, and now I'm trying to short this thing at what looks like a good area, but I'm under pressure there. So render's cooking, guys. That's an absolute banger here. And then GMX, I told you the story yesterday, still trying to get that one going. And then Fartcoin is what we were covering this morning on the Hacker Zoom as well. So I'm sitting at a Fartcoin long there. We're going to talk about that one in a couple of secs. Now, there's something cool with LBANK. We're running a competition at the moment, and it's exclusively for my community. So if you are a show watcher signed up to my LBANK link, or if you are in Chart Hackers signed up to a Chart Hackers link, you can participate in this private competition, and it's basically all my community. So right now you can see it's our community has started trading, and the competition is on. There's some banging prizes here, and all it costs is $100 to put into your futures account. First prize $3,000, second prize $2,500, all the way down to fifth prize you get $1,000, and this is real money. This is cash back. It's actual money that you can withdraw. It's not like a futures bonus from these guys. So if you want to join us in the comp, it's $100. It's a P&L competition. Obviously, there's a minimum volume that needs to be traded, but you'll see in 20 days you'll definitely cover that, and get stuck in here and try and take part. And like I said to the guys this morning, get stuck in. And when you guys start moving, I'm going to come in that last week or two, and then I'm going to come and chase you. Okay, we're going to chase you hard, and I can see LB6318 coming first at 116%. What are these rookie numbers here? Okay, we must find this person. We must chase them. We must get 500%. Okay, so that's something fun we're doing, and there's obviously tons of supply for you guys of charts and setups in Hackers. Okay. So here's the news. In case you're wondering why AVAX was actually being bullish over the last couple of hours, ICO drop says Van Eck submits application to list an AVAX ETF on the NASDAQ. Okay, so AVAX has been bullish, and it has been moving a little bit. And in terms of longs versus shorts, quite nice. It's quite a nice and clean chart, actually, at the moment for shorts. So if we get a pump on AVAX, guys, there's a short zone here. Look at that 50-day MA that I spoke about on Solana. Look at that, 20. That looks like a really nice short zone for me. So look out for a pump, anything into, say, 19.9 up to about 20.5. That looks like a nice high conviction short zone there for me on AVAX, and by then you're going to see tons of divergence and things like that playing out on AVAX, and that could be a nice reversal play for you guys. So watch that area there to the upside. In terms of downside support, 18.3 is pretty much where it's at for me. So 18.3 is what you're going to watch. That is your short-term DGen 618 pool. Okay, so it's a little bit dangerous there, but if you get something along those lines, you could get a long today. So 18.3, watch that one. 20 up to 20.2 is what you're going to be watching to the upside. Okay, so we'll drop that one in Hackers. There's some nice potential shorts there for you guys. And then let's talk 𝗏. So I just want this thing to fall over now. Now, you've taken profits in some of your longs, right?
Yeah, 2 days ago, I took about 15% off the board, was just kind of anticipating more of a pump just because as the market was dumping, it was holding at 0%. So just to me, that means there's buying pressure. And then today, nice little rip to the upside. And I took additional half off the table. So I still have about 35% just in case there is more room to the upside. But I've definitely scaled out a good amount.
Bro, well, what an absolute banger trade. And all that means is, like, I'm just frustrated that I closed mine a little bit early. I think, where did we get it? We got it here, actually. It was there.
Yeah, macro 786 on the Sunday banger session.
Yes, it was here somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I closed it here, and I caught the short, thought I was very smart, and then it pumped in here, caught the short, and now I'm sweating. Okay, so again, like a nice lesson here. 𝗏𝗏 was actually showing relative strength here, and it wasn't relenting. It just kept on grinding, and we've seen the same with Render, another AI narrative play here. It's interesting. The market wakes up and they start buying Render and 𝗏𝗏. That is actually quite an interesting one that they really put some upward pressure. Okay, so guys, what am I doing with this thing? What is my plan? Well, you can see I'm running this in a hedge play at the moment, so it's not like it's killing me mentally. It's like not bad, okay, but it's frustrating. So this is hopefully my last gasp 𝗏𝗏. Yeah, if it doesn't fall over here, I mean, this is like really we need to start having words if this thing doesn't fall over. So it's getting quite frustrating. You can see the bearish divergence on the 4 hour has printed now as well, and we're looking for this to fall over. CJ, come on, bro, what are you doing here? What are you doing, bro? I'm trying to get this thing to go down.
The 1 minute. This guy. 1
minute, man, bro. 1 minute, man. Okay, so guys, what are your exit plans? You can see there's quite a big wick here at the moment. So I suspect if they want to pump it up again, they probably can quite easily, and fill this wick to the upside. So just look out there, that wick up there, that 248 zone, very interesting area. Right now we closed underneath it. Not a great place. So guys, if you are sweating in that, I'm sweating in it with you at the moment. So let's see how that goes. Next big zone, 255. Next big zone, 275 for me on 𝗏𝗏. Okay, so that's that plan. Now, Dave, let's talk 𝗬𝗰. You and Jay were quite keen on 𝗬𝗰 shorts earlier today. What do you got here in terms of that thing?
Yeah, let me know if you guys can see my screen.
I'm going to pull it up now. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so look, everyone typically asks for a 𝗬𝗰 setup, or what's the update on 𝗬𝗰 every week, and so nothing's really changed here. I've been staring at this forever. Where I would really be confident in firing up some heavy longs is at a level here at 154. That's a 786 on the macro there. But as far as short term, we have a fixed range pull here that I've got, right? So just trying to see where the price action is, and you can see that we have a point of control tying in with also chart prime's point of control. So there's some serious resistance here. I've got an anchored VWAP, 2 anchored VWAPs actually, and we're having a hard time. We have a bearish order block here at 220. And then if you shift to I think it's the 2 hour time frame, it should be showing that as well. So bearish order block on the 2, on the 4, on the 6, bearish order block here, right? So I like how all these things are tying in. And so I've went decent size on a short here. Typically when we are floating around the value area low, that's typically, there's typically a pullback. So that's what I'm looking for. Whether we get some additional pumps here and we start to roll over, or we come down here, as soon as we come down here, I'm going to be adding more to my short. Typically the value area low, the loss of that is a very good entry trigger for whether you want to take the trade or add more size. And a good example of that would be kind of like SEI. I'll just kind of use it as a quick reference. I was explaining this at the with the chart hackers yesterday, but right here's an example of SEI. Right, everyone's bullish, but you can't ignore the fixed range pull. Right, we have a value area low here, and every time it goes to the value area low, it was having a hard time. A little bit of a deviation here, but loss of the value area low and complete dump. So I'm looking for that same situation with 𝗬𝗰. Today it's kind of matching Bitcoin's tempo a little bit, kind of falling behind here, but it has a lot of work to do. For me to be bullish on 𝗬𝗰, I want to see a break of this. I want to see a break of the 50. I want to see kind of consolidation of this trend line, and then I'll put the bull hat on. But as of now, I think any kind of pumps up into this region here is an opportunity. And whether you want to start low leverage and kind of ladder into the position here, that's kind of what I would say would be a good strategy. So as far as tight stop losses go, you could do like above the point of control, right? So maybe these highs here, you can see if we zoom in with a magnifying glass here, right? We have this high, we have these highs here, right? So however you want to handle your risk and your stop loss there, right? that's kind of what I would recommend. So if you want to put your stop loss a little bit above this, just understand that that would give you about a 5% stop loss. Again, in this market, it's not easy setting super tight stop losses because you get 5% swings up and down and stop hunts, 10% scam wicks, and then it goes down, right? So just plan your risk accordingly here. But I'm in this trade and I've added more, and I will be adding more once we come down to like 207 and giving us that confirmation of the loss of the value area low.
Okay, so right now I'm still marginally net long here on the SU. So I should be getting net short here, basically, on what I'm seeing. Okay, so guys, there you go. So another altcoin sitting at major resistance. We got tons of these for you. Okay, I'm going to give you a few more just so you can understand the context. But like David is saying here, it's very important. And in conditions like this, it's most important, position sizing. Don't go too big, because then you are limiting your size of your stop loss. Do you want to get stopped out twice and then see something run away from you? So be patient, have a smaller size and rather a bigger stop. We'll play it like that, okay? It's a safer way to do it, especially in these slow burning zones. So Dave, I have opened the SUI now in CoinX as well. So I'm going to short it here in CoinX, and I've started a position in CoinX. Also, this is a cross position that I've opened. So if this does start falling over, I'm going to be able to use the unrealized gains to open more trades. Okay, so I've left this one as a cross one. That's also going to allow me to leverage, to hedge a little bit too. So if this does start falling over, I'll be able to start opening longs using unrealized gains in a cross account. Okay, so that's going to be my strategy here, and I've done that one on CoinX. Okay, so my entry is 2.17 at the moment. Okay, let's go. Let's talk render, because obviously it's a thing for me. It was my last long that I kept open here, and this thing's been a cooker. Okay, so a $34,000 position. It's printed 6K. It's a nice trade. Okay, after a pump like that, you can see I've got my hedge short now that we opened this morning, and that is short 16,000 now. Okay, so I'm long 38, I'm short 16. That obviously means my bias is bullish, and I'm looking for a higher low. And if I get a higher low, well, then the plan is played out. If I get a lower low, well, then I get rinsed. Okay, so that's the bias you need to have if you're going to play the hedging game. And right now, here's my strategy. So this is the rejection zone we gave this morning for render. Just another altcoin zipping into horizontal and a fib. Look at that, 786 fib and horizontal rejection zone. We've also got reversal prints on our oscillator. And John says risk it all for double or nothing. He's going to send it to zero. But that's the bear case here for render at the moment. So upside resistance 3.84, you can see that guy, and then another nice one here, 4.15. These both make quite a lot of sense to me to the upside. So if there is a news pump this weekend, and I want to reiterate, like, we don't know what's coming out of Trump's mouth. He could literally pump the market this weekend or send it to zero. So we don't know. That's why we're trying to be prepared both ways. So if we do get a news pump, there's another zone for you. 4.15 is what you're going to be watching. Look at that typical horizontal here that you can pay attention to. And then another potential short zone, 4.46. So if you get a weekend pump, these are your hedge zones. These are your take profit zones to the upside. That is where you can look for shorts. And then if you're looking for longs and the market is going to remain bullish, we're going to keep it pretty simple. Now, I don't love bringing out the 236 fib. It's not my best, but here it is. And we've got the 236 tied in with a 50-day and a trend. So that's going to be your first zone of interest for render. 3.5, so a medium-sized dip there. 3.5 could make sense. Alternatively, look at this VWAP coming in hot here with a 382 on 3.3. So I'm pretty sure the hot zone indicator will fire at around about that 3.3 as well. So my strategy personally for this hedge play, where so I'm net long and I've got a short running, is I'm going to add a little bit to the long when we dip into the first zone, and then I'm going to add a little bit more when we dip into the second zone. So that's going to be my strategy there. Add on there, and then see if we get that kind of reversal. Okay, that is the game plan on render for me. This chart will obviously be in Chart Hackers, and if you are short now, let me just show you your risk. If you are opening a short now, your first risk is about 4.2% to the downside. Okay, so understand your risk. if you are trying to go short now, we already got that entry in Chart Hackers earlier today, and you're a little bit behind. Okay, so you're 1 or 2% behind, but risk 4 to 5% if you are going short now. What is your potential target to the downside? Let's just take a look in terms of how far this thing can go for you. So the 382 is 10%. The 618 down there is about 18%, but again, that's quite a deep move. So those are your options at the moment. Just play it safe, okay? You can see Subi's like this, Sol's like this, Render, except Tao, that's rinsing me. What's the other ones we got? Lots of those at resistance here. Let's go. Okay, there's 𝗬𝗍, you know that one. Okay, Popcat, a lot of interest on this thing. Popcat's going to turn over as well, I would say. Look at that bearish divergence and looking for some kind of reversal on Popcat. So right now, it might just be gearing up for one little push to the upside. You can see it is trying to flag a little bit, and sometimes they do play games. So look at what they've got here at the moment on Popcat. You can see what they do here. They pump it up. There's some kind of games. Look at that little stop hunt, and then bang, they send it up again. So just look out for games here on Popcat. But in terms of zones of interest to me, where I think we can get a banger here, 233. Look at this region. It's the undercarriage. I love these undercarriages here. Look at that. And we've got a 786 as well in the way there. So probably some order block action. Let's see what we got. A little bit higher. Okay, we got some order block action a little bit higher as well. So look out, 233 for me. If you get a sharp move into that, that might be a beautiful Popcat short. And if you look at that chart, at some point, this thing's going to get tired. Okay, this thing is going to want a breather, and it's just a matter of time now. So right now, downside moves. 18 makes a lot of sense to me. Look at that. We're going to have a VWAP in there as well by the time that happens. So 18 looks like a reasonable downside move. If you're trying to be long here, high risk. Okay, high risk play here. Be super careful. Okay, I don't like it sort of floating around in between these zones. Okay, it's a bit of a lottery at the moment. Okay, Fartcoin. Who wants some fart? So a couple of charts here. Number one is the daily, a big picture chart for Fartcoin. So this is the big picture chart that says market stays bullish for a few days. If the market stays bullish for a few days, I think it's a matter of time, and Popcat's pushing 1.17 to 1.29. So it's literally market stays bullish, Fartcoin is going to rip, okay? As simple as that. You want some Fartcat, bro?
Yeah, let's make a new coin, call it the Fartcat.
I need that. I need this token. Imagine how well that's going to trade. Fucking Fartcat. What the fuck?
Fartcat. I bet you it'd rip.
Oh, dude, it's a banger.
What the fuck? Okay, let's go. So Fartcoin, looking at the daily. So literally, Fartcoin is like the go-to trade at the moment. Everybody loves it. It's got so much volume. There's massive whales involved. There's so many people trading Fartcoin. It's all over Twitter as well. Like a lot of big accounts are trading this thing. So we know when the market flips bullish, this thing sends. Okay, so it's almost like the old Popcat that we used to trade about a year ago. That thing was always ripping for us. That was a beautiful trade. Fartcoin is that. It is that trade for me. So bullish market, 1.17 to 1.29. I think it's coming. And then in terms of where we are now, it's a tricky one. So, I mean, we were trying to sculpt this morning in the hacker Zoom, you can see there, and we had identified a couple of levels here, and they're playing games, okay? The rest of the market kind of fell over a bit. Fartcoin's kind of holding, but you can see they're playing lots of games up here to the upside. So, super cautious here, guys. What I would say is your best zone is most likely going to be a visit to a solid area. Now, this is the DGen level. This is the 30 minutes that I'm watching, but we can see they're printing like divergences. They're printing blue reversal dots here. They are trying to push this thing down at the moment, but there's a lot of buy pressure. But in terms of Fartcoin falling over, if it does fall over, I expect quite a quick move here. Okay, I expect that to get taken out, and then you're going to look at about 78 or 77 as a potential long zone. Okay, let's not discount this group of VWAPs pushing up here. Let's highlight that. You can see Hot Zone is giving us a flame at the moment over there. So nice. Options for you on Fartcoin: 8-0 and 7-7 look like reasonable zones if this market just quickly melts down for an hour or two. If there is a little spill over here, 8-0 and 77, those are like the higher conviction zones for me on a DGen basis. Okay, in terms of a high conviction zone on a bigger chart, well, we're looking at 64, we're looking at 56. Okay, but we don't have to deal with that at the moment. If there is momentum in the market, that's probably what you guys can play with. Okay, reminder on GMX, guys. So this GMX trade, again, still sitting in the short. Okay, these are the zones to the upside that are interesting to me. Here's your 50-day MA, 14.7, 14.8. That still makes sense for me. Remember the rules with this GMX, and hopefully James can fill us in if it's changed. But they're giving away $14 million. And you need to have your GMX staked. So that explains why there was also a little bit of, no sell pressure. There's a lot of buy pressure on GMX, and it's been holding up really nicely. So I think next week, once they give their money away, then there's going to be less buying pressure on this thing, and it's going to roll over. So I am obviously trying to get this short going. You can see it's printed divergence on the 2-hour, blue reversal dots. It's trying lots of things at the moment. Let's look at the 4. And also bearish divergence on the 4. So, this could be worth looking at. I'm sitting in the short still. Backup zone, 14.9 to 15, I would say. If you start closing above this 15 region, guys, then it's probably quite a quick ride up there. So that's rinse time. Okay, that is where you get exponentially rinsed on your short. Okay, so look out for that. That's pretty much your area. So 15, the close above 15, I'd say you want to be jumping out of that thing very quickly. Rob, why are you talking about butts, bro? What's he talking about here? Are we gonna get a pop here? Are we going to pop on Bitcoin? That's, you know what, guys? That's all the information I have for you at the moment. Dave, you got anything else for the gang?
Yeah, no, I guess it's maybe time to announce the new account that we got going here. And
oh, yes.
Yeah.
Let me pull this up.
Yeah, guys. So we're kind of segueing into the other social media platforms. So for those of you guys that are on TikTok, I've got a new account here. I've got some consistent posts coming here. I've got some alpha, planning to do some setups here, probably some giveaways, maybe even some free sessions, one-on-one sessions. So we're getting creative with it. But I know the Chart Hackers, we're firing up a Chart Hackers TikTok account as well. But yeah, a lot of people on TikTok. I'll probably be running lives in the future, the whole 9. So for those of you guys that are on TikTok, give me a follow, tiktok.com/@DavidSendsIt. And
there you go.
We'll give you guys the Chart Hacker account details maybe Sunday. So
coming Sunday, yeah, we're launching the Chart Hackers TikTok. Going to be a banger. And MJ, ECC MJ likes the eggplant. I fucking love the eggplant. Okay, there you go, guys. That is that. Okay, now have an absolute cracker weekend. You've got longs, you know what to do. You've got some shorts, hopefully you know what to do. You got Uncle Donald, fucking anything can happen, so be safe. I'm back on Sunday for you, probably on the main channel. So look out on the Crypto Banter main channel for me on Sunday. Whatever move we get, up, down, flat, we're going to sort it out on Sunday. Okay, don't get chopped up in between, obviously. And then Dave and I do our Sunday night banger session for Chart Hackers directly after that. So lots happening this weekend. Okay, David, thanks, bro.
Thank you.
See you later, sir. And reminder, we're going to be at Token 49. Don't forget about that in Dubai. The Banter crew is going to be around. We'll see you at Token 49. That's around the corner. And you should be able to buy tickets. There's a link in the show description as well for you guys. James, thank you, Captain. See you later. Okay, have a good weekend. Should we do this?
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening.
Later.